welcome to another Team Clueless battle report. So today we're up in Nick's loft. Say hello, Nick.
Hi.
It's reasonably warm, but it's pretty good. We decided to have a quick Friday afternoon game of 40k while we can. So this is the table. We are playing end-to-end today. So Nick has chosen this setup zone, basically because it's closer to his models. So I'm over here. We have a couple of buildings at each end, some wood scattered around, a nice big line of sight blocking landing pad in the centre, a few craters and such. The dice aren't actually terrain, they're to roll, shockingly. We are playing a new mission I have thrown together while eating some cereal for lunch. We are playing a mission called Focal Points today. So it uses the objective card, so it just plays around ever so slightly with how the objective cards work. You start with 3 objectives cards, and at the end of your turn you may discard an objective card. At the start of your turn you draw 1 objective card always, and then if you have less than 2 you draw up to 2 objective cards. So it's similar to the rules that we use in the Luton tournaments, but then a slight difference. The objective placements, we have number 3 down here, and number 5 I have placed in here, 4 even, over here. But then, because the mission is called Focal Points, the other objectives are clumped together. So this objective here is actually objective 6 and objective 5. So if you control that, you count as controlling both of them. And then over here, hiding behind the dice pot, is objective 1 and objective 2. So because of the way the objective card comes out, you're likely to be focusing on those points of the battlefield, thus so in the centre line. Then there's one other thing to do with those. If at the start of your turn you don't control either of those, then after drawing up to your 2 cards at the beginning, you then can draw an additional one after that if you don't control either of those points. It's a small attempt at a catch-up mechanic, because the game's going to hopefully focus around those objective points. If you're not controlling them, you're losing the game slightly in a kind of game state type of way. So it's a way of giving you an additional card so you can hopefully try and catch up. Whether that works as intended, who knows? We'll find out when we play. Okay, so today we are bringing 2 newish armies to ourselves. Not that I have a new army at all. I am playing...
It's an allied detachment.
I'm actually playing 3 different allied detachments combined together to form what some, not myself, but what some would call a new army. So, you'll have to forgive a couple of proxies, but literally only a couple. So I am playing the beginnings of my Mech force. We're playing a 1750 point game. I know people out there are going to be saying, why don't you bring in a war convocation? Mainly because it's a bit cheesy for a friendly game, and I don't have all the models as yet. So, I first of all have this section here. This is the Cohort Cybernetica from the Cult Mechanicus book. It's led by this guy here, who's a Tech Priest Dominus, and he's got a couple of Tech Priest Thralls behind him, and he has 4 big robots. The only particular upgrade of note is he has the Auto Caduceus of Arkan Land. Yes, I somehow remembered that, which gives the whole unit it will not die. They're all multi-wound models, so it's really useful on them. He's my Warlord, and he's got to mastercraft his Power Axe as his Warlord trait. Oh yes. Then back here we have our Imperial Knight. He's a Knight, whichever the one with a thermal cannon is. I'm going to go Errant. I'm throwing it out there. Knight Errant. He has the missile pod on top of his back, but it's not the usual one I took. Because I'm 10 points short today, so he has got the large blast missile rack on his back, and he has a melter gun as his chest weapon. Then we move on to the Skitari, or Skitarii, depending on how you like to pronounce them. So in this, we are just taking the standard Skitari formation. I have some Sikaran Rust Stalkers, or Infiltrators. Let's look at their heads. No, they're infiltrators. These are the ones that have the aura of reducing other people, and they're basically got Uzis and giant tuning forks to hit the enemy with, so they're pretty sweet. They also move really fast. Then we have at the back there a unit of Rangers. All of them are armed with the 30-inch range gun that's got precision shots. They're reasonable. Then we have 5 of the Vanguard. I hope I'm getting the names right. First time I played the army. They have 2 arc rifles in the unit, and then these 5 Imperial Guardsmen are actually 5 more Vanguards in disguise, and they're just armed with the basic rad carbines. At the back there we have a Dune Trawler. It has whatever the big gun is called, the Neutron Laser. It's a Strength 10 AP1 small blast shot with loads of range. It's also got a couple of heavy stubbers on there which are Cognis, so it can snap fire better. And then lastly but not least, we have whatever this thing is called. It's one of the walkers. I'm thinking it's a dragoon. I'm not sure about the name of that one. It's the close combat one. It's supposed to have a large taser goad. So it moves really fast. It's an 11 armour walker with 2 hull points. And if it charges into combat, it gets loads of additional hits at high initiative. So that is my army. Hopefully I got the names right. I'm sure I'll learn them given time. Let's see what Nick is bringing.
Right, myself, I am bringing a Khorne Daemonkin army today. So we've got a blood host.
Is that a new army, Nick?
Newish. I've kind of had little bits for it. I've had little bits for a little while, collecting a few bits.
Just checking.
Oh, I am borrowing a lot of models from yourself though.
We won't let our wives/fiancés watch this video.
So we've got a blood host, which consists of a slaughter cult. So there's a tiny bloodthirster there, who's got the axe and whip. 2 units of 8 blood letters, a unit of 5 possessed, and a soul grinder, which has got phlegm as well. And then we've just gone for a normal detachment with another bloodthirster, big guy. This one's got the D weapon, so he's actually got the 2-handed axe. Along with him, we have got 2 units of cultists. One of the leaders, the painted one there, has got a shotgun because I had a couple of points spare, so I thought, why not?
I like upgrades that cost tiny amounts of points. You can fill them in. I think I've not spent 3 points in my army.
I've still got 1 point spare.
Ah, nice.
We have a second soul grinder with phlegm, so there's 2 of them. We've got a biker squad. The 2 normal bikers have got melter guns. The champion's got a power weapon, a melter bombs, a combi melter. We've got a unit of 10 flesh hounds, and we've got a forge fiend as well.
What weapons has he got? Has he got the big auto cannon?
Yeah, he's got the big auto cannon ones and that. So yeah, I went for them. And my warlord trait is preferred enemy.
Much better than my reroll once with an axe.
Yep. So we're obviously we've rolled off. It's me to deploy first and hopefully go first, but we will come to.
So what he means is it's me to steal initiative.
So we're not doing that bit on camera. We'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you join us at setup. So Nick has gone for a line abreast formation. Is that how you would call it, Nick?
I call it everything's in the middle.
So Soul Grinder, Forge Fiend, Big Bloodthirster, Little Bloodthirster, Soul Grinder, backed up by all of the smaller units there with the Flesh Hounds holding the centre, and we've got a unit of Cultists holding each of these back things on one objective there, and the Bikers outflanking to the side. So I got to respond to Nick's deployment, so I put half my army over here in this one little tiny squad. My long range support back there, and then the Skitarii are basically spread out over the centre with the Knight holding the flank, basically as far away from Nick's melter gun bikes as I can be, because they're the thing that I'm most scared of there over behind that building there. So now we get to the part of the video where I get to roll a 6 and seize initiative. Isn't that right, Nick?
No.
I think it is. Let's see.
I told you it's not going to happen. It didn't happen!
God damn it, that's like 2 out of 100 videos or something now.
That's 2 in a row. That's 2 in a row. Warhammer World, and now this one.
You're right. God damn it. Okay, let's see how close Nick can get and what he can kill.
End of Khorne turn 1. So we have literally moved both Soul Grinders where I've rolled to move only moved 4 inches, but they're coming up into the woods. The Bloodthirsters have taken over the landing pad, landed on, and the Hounds are starting to charge underneath to come through the other side.
A 3D battlefield.
We've got a Forge Fiend moved up. Bloodletters have kind of moved up either side, and the bikes have come skirting around this side, seeing the Imperial Knights. They've come turbo boosting round, and the cultists have not moved whatsoever. Obviously, not a lot really happened this turn. Both my Soul Grinders spat at the enemy with their phlegm. I took 1 model out from this unit. I went for this because of obviously there was a good scatter thing, so I was possibly going to scatter on here or the Imperial Knight. I didn't really want to put it on the Knight because of scattering off, but rolled a hit. So I took 1 out from there, which wasn't too bad, and then the other one went, again, kind of for scattering reasons as well, but also because of these dudes are a bit more squishy. I went for them and scattered off and hit one from this little group and killed one of them. The Forge Fiend activated its special demon thing for re-rolling penetration rolls. Fired at the Imperial Knight. I hit it 4 times, 1 glancing, 1 pen, but both saves, so nothing else happened there. And that was it for turn 1. It was literally moving and that's it. Let's see, well, my turn 2 will be better, but I've got to survive turn 1 for the ad mech. Let's see what happens.
Okay, Adeptus Mechanicus, turn 1. Not a brilliant one, I'm going to go be honest here.
I'm going to go with a good turn.
So, the plan was, move the knight up here, assault the soul grinder while shooting various things. It was an 8-inch charge, so I failed that, but not the end of the world. I managed to fail to hurt the soul grinder with my melter gun. I didn't even actually shoot that, did I?
No, you didn't.
No, we'll do that in a minute. But I'm guessing I failed to hurt it. I fired my giant fusion cannon thing at this bad boy. I managed to get a 4 on the damage table, which Nick ignores due to his special power, but I put a whole point on it. I then fired my barrage weapon from the top of the knight at the bikes, failed to hurt any of them. I then fired 2 haywire blasters from this squad again at the Forge Fiend. I'd gone for +1 BS this round with my Skitarii. Only got 1 whole point off it with those. So I then fired my Dune Crawler at it, got a nice direct hit. Unfortunately, strength 10 AP 1, rolled a 1 to penetrate, didn't hurt the Forge Fiend, so it's still kicking and fully able to fire. It's one of the best things Nick's got for kind of like putting glancing hits on my knight, so I'm quite scared of it. So over to the other side, I opened fire on my giant robot unit. Because of the cards we'd drawn this round, one of them required me to activate a close combat protocol and then hope to kill something in close combat. Because I've got a charge going on under the landing pad and I was hoping the knight would get in, I activated a close combat protocol, so they weren't particularly brilliant at shooting this round. I split fire slightly, shooting into the dogs underneath the platform to give my unit fleet, but I failed to get a wound on them with my phosphor blasters. I then fired a couple of the phosphor blaster armed dudes up at the Bloodthirster along with a couple of the data smiths and such. I got 1 wound on, it was a parade of appalling rolling. Loads and loads of strength 6 weapons, I just couldn't put a wound on him. Then I fired some of the other stuff at the back, but didn't really get anything out of it. My Rust Stalkers, or Infiltrators, they're Infiltrators, have charged in under here using their super long legs. The Dune Strider rule just makes them so quick, it's silly. They charged into the Flesh Hounds. There was only 4 of them in number, but they killed 3.5 Flesh Hounds with their loads of attacks, and that was not even with particularly good rolling. So I was pretty pleased with them, and they're locked in combat with the Flesh Hounds, because Flesh Hounds from the Khorne Daemonkin book are fearless, so much better than their demon brethren.
Yeah. And they took no wounds in return.
No wounds in return, but it is end of turn 1 and neither Nick or I have scored any VPs. I had the one this turn that if I controlled 2 objectives and at least 2 objectives and at least double what Nick controls, then I could get D3 victory points. So I just needed to get on to this one. But this thing, even with +3 result at running and re-rolling his run dice, moved 4 inches. So wasn't favourite. So couldn't get on that, so I think that one's going to have to be discarded at some point in the future, because I think it's going to become a bit of a clusterfuck in the centre of the table.
You could discard that one and keep the one you are discarding.
No, that was over there. I'm not going for that one. So we will then see what is happening with Nick's turn.
So, end of Demon's turn 2. This wood is becoming a nightmare for me, because I've got secure objective 1. The Soul Grinder just moved 3 inches, so I've decided to move the Possessed around it. The Bloodletters are coming around. I flemmed at the robots this turn, because they're obviously coming closer, and I know they do lots of damage in that. Curly looked out, sir, obviously, because he was going to take the wounds on this guy. He's got the 2-up save, but failed one look out, sir, but made the pass. The one he failed, this robot here has taken a wound.
Woot.
The Bloodthirster with the lash, he leapt underneath the landing pad there to take care of, to help the Flesh Hounds out, which the Flesh Hounds got wiped out by the guys, which was a lot of attacks from those guys that put in.
Oh,
with the sixes.
Of sixes they rolled, was, I think I rolled 6 sixes, so they turned into 18 hits.
Yeah, there's a chance he could have killed the Bloodthirster, but he went for the Flesh Hounds.
Yeah, even though, I mean, the Bloodthirster's really good because he doubles them out, but I really like these. These are... They
are very, very good. I do like them
on
in
the
combat.
charge they put out, I think.
But
4 attacks each, and any 6s to hit get an extra 2 hits. Really good.
But the Bloodthirster went in there and with his axe of Khorne just sliced everything apart.
Yeah.
The Bloodletters have moved up. The bikes have come flying around there, and the Forge Fiend. There's a crater here. We fired the Forge Fiend in.
Yeah, this crater here used to be poor Bryant, the Imperial Knight.
we fired the Forge Fiend in. We did a whole point. I decided to dangerously phlegm as well with the Soul Grinder, just to try and take the whole point off. I hit it but failed to take the whole point. But I charged the Bloodthirster and the Soul Grinder into combat, so Curly basically had a choice. He went for the Soul Grinder, thinking obviously
Yeah,
probably
you
kill
gave
it.
me the better choice. I think it was possibly a good idea because there's a chance I could have killed the Bloodthirster.
Yeah,
and giving me the better choice meant I wouldn't hit the Bloodthirster. So,
but the Soul Grinder only took 3 whole points. He stood still tall with 1 hit
so
left.
annoying. I'd have got first blood if I'd have killed him.
And the Bloodthirster literally, the Soul Grinder had his attacks, didn't do anything, but the Bloodthirster was de-weaponed, just went in and hacked the Imperial Knight apart.
Yep.
It exploded valiantly and took out the
thing behind it, not the 2 things it was in close combat with.
the Bloodthirster and the Soul Grinder, but obviously we're still standing.
To the Bloodthirster with the explosion.
But we've consolidated. The Bloodthirster's sitting on objectives 5 and 6 over there, and Soul Grinder coming round. So we're looking for targets. Obviously, the bikes who took their valiant effort to get round to the Imperial Knight with their melter guns, the whole reason I took them, have now wasted turns coming around. But they could have come around here and shot at the robots, but they can come dashing across the board again to try and take out these robots. They're the next big target, but we might squish a couple of little things on our way over just to help us out. But let's see what the AdMech can do in return.
AdMech turn 2. This one went a little better. So moved over here. These guys, I needed to take out the Soul Grinder because he was a big threat. So I'd given all my Skitarii +3 ballistic skill, -2 weapon skill because all my close combat units are now dead. So they moved up to there, fired into the Soul Grinder, did 4 glancing hits to him. He was out of there. Good old arc blasters. The rest of the Skitarii had moved in place to shoot the Bloodthirster that was here because I needed to get Nick off these pair of objectives. Remember, there are 2 objectives here. You can see the other one slightly underneath it because I wanted to score whichever one it is that means I control more than Nick and double Nick even. So I moved up over here with that end of the robot unit to score that objective and then needed to kill the Bloodthirster off this one, so that's what I duly did. I opened fire with most of the robots, fired over here, killed the Bloodthirster, first set of firing. Bit disappointing because I'd arranged all my Skitarii units, well, all 2 of them, to add weight of fire, but they weren't needed. So he was gone and they were out of range of everything else. I fired the Dune Crawler at the back, got another happy pen on this guy, but he made an invulnerable save, so he's still sitting pretty. I split-fired with the robot over there, which has got the Incendiine Combustor. It's basically a torrent flamer into these guys down here, but only killed one of them, a bit unlucky. And the only other thing I did of any note was the Tech Priest Dominus, because he only didn't have to fire his secondary weapon. He healed the robot that had taken some damage. And that was that. I scored 3 victory points this turn though, 2 for the D3 for controlling more objectives than Nick, and 1 for killing a unit in the shooting phase. So we are neck and neck on 3 points. Your go, Nick.
End of turn 3. So for this turn, we did attempt to bring in a Bloodthirster with the Chaos guy here. He failed his leadership, so he just killed himself, and we didn't bring the Bloodthirster back, which is a shame. The bikes have literally turbo boosted to this side of the landing pad because obviously the robots are my big thing to take out now. The Bloodletters have moved and run up, so they're by objective 6. Just in case Curly got anything for securing that objective, there's a bit of a block there.
Take it off you.
That's fine. It means I'll get more cards next turn. The Forge Fiend, everything else is literally fired into the robot. So the Forge Fiend fired in, the Soul Grinder flemmed in. We did about 1 wound in the end, I think, with shooting, was it?
Definitely did anyway.
We might not have done anyway with shooting, but we literally charged him. We charged the Possessing first of all with the Overwatch. 1 died in the Overwatch and made it in. The Champion issued a challenge because it was a choice between the Champion and the Bloodthirster. Both have to issue a challenge if they can.
Yep.
So I did the Possessed first because the Bloodthirster does have an instant death weapon. I did die in the challenge though. After I did get to attack, but did nothing. The Bloodthirster managed to instant death 1 robot, but it's one of the little guys with a 2-up save that's been making lots of saves in there. So I haven't been able to kill anything else, but there is a robot there. It's taken 2 wounds.
Yes, the instant death that's the main problem. It gets through my feel no pain, and it takes out my 3 wounds. So it's a bit touch and go.
We managed to get the Possessed, Bloodletters, Bloodthirster, and the Soul Grinder into that combat. And seeing as we're both fearless, we're just stuck. We're all just stuck in there.
I think it's going to come down to it. If I can kill the Bloodthirster, he's got 3 wounds left. If I can hit him a bit more and kill him next turn, then I think I'll be able to. I don't think the rest of it will be able to hurt me enough.
Yeah.
But if I can't kill him next turn,
Well, I lose my feel no pain next turn as well, because
that's
obviously
a big advantage. Because
obviously
with
the obviously trying to summon the Bloodthirster as well, I get to take one of the lower ones. So I took feel no pain for this turn as well.
I need to make sure I don't kill too much of your stuff, then, don't I? As you'll get up to 4 points, and you can just buy feel no pain normally.
I think it's free.
Ooh, damn it! I intend to kill at least 3 of your things.
We'll have a look for that. But yeah, so I've literally just got a couple of units left out here and cultists and that just sitting around. So it's there's not really much to do in your turn. It's a couple of units there to move and shoot.
I've got 4 units to fire.
But let's see how turn 3 goes for Admech.
Admech turn 3.
Yep.
He says questioningly, Nick's the one who keeps track of turns. This was a pretty good turn for me. So I moved forward with all of my Skitarii, giving them all +2 ballistic skill this turn, making them super accurate again. This unit here fired into the Bloodletters, whittled down, I think, 3 or 4 of their number, and then the Rangers who are hiding in this building on the final objective, they fired down, killed another 3 of their number, leaving 1 left. I was trying to starve Nick of blood points before his turn, so he couldn't feel no pain up again. So that took down that was really useful. Left it on 1, I decided to ignore it for the rest of it. I then fired my 2 arc rifles into his Mauler Fiends. It's not a Mauler Fiend, it's a something else fiend. Forge Fiend. Managed to get the last whole point down on it, so killed that. That was 1 point given to Nick. This guy over here, he fired underneath the landing platform, took out the power axe wielding biker. That was quite good because he was going to go and join in that combat with some AP2, which scares me. Back in the combat, because I had a objective card to issue a challenge, I decided my Tech Priest Dominus would go up and issue a challenge. It was a bit dangerous because the Bloodthirster can instant death on a 6, but I'd get into combat with him eventually anyway, and I wanted to trigger my conversion field. So the Bloodthirster did 2 wounds to me. I made 1 of the saves.
Only 1 wound to you.
Sorry, 1 wound to me, but I made a save on a different wound. So he's got a chance of blinding people, which we've forgotten to do, so we'll have to do that in a sec. And he dealt me the wound, but I will not died it back. And I didn't hurt the Bloodthirster in return, unfortunately. But the rest of my squad went good on the others. I killed 3 Bloodletters. I put 2 hull points on the Soul Grinder, and I took no wounds back, which was really sweet. Nick was finding the toughness 7 really hard to get through, and I feel no pain for my Conqueror protocols. So overall, a pretty sweet turn for me, managing to get back in the game. Let's see how Nick handles his turn 4, and whether he's blind or
both our points tied up over there.
Well, this is the end of turn 4, and it's getting worse and worse. You'd think with Khorne in combat, you would think we'd be fine.
Your Bloodthirster this turn needs sacking. Well, no, he did awesomely.
Yeah, we basically went for over here because I had Secure Objective 5 and Supremacies, my 2 cards. So I needed to kill these 2 guys off of here. So the bites come round, Bloodletter ran until he got up to the objective. The bikes bolt gunned in, 4 wounds, 4 saves.
I made all my saves.
Made all the saves. I tried charging in. 1 bike died from the charge, and then I failed the charge. I thought it was there.
It went P-tong, didn't it?
It started going bad there. The assault over here. Obviously, the Bloodthirster in combat. Sorry. 4 wounds, 3 of them were instant death and 1 normal wound.
Yeah, to the Tech Priest on us.
The 3 instant death wounds saved, the non-instant death one failed.
Causing. So we need to make more blind tests. He passed all his blind tests last turn, so we'll see if it does anything.
And the Soul Grinder managed to do a wound to a robot. That was the only other thing.
Took a wound back. And I didn't
took a wound back.
Else.
Yeah, so the Soul Grinder's down to 1 whole point. But that is it. It's literally the turns is just roll for this combat, really.
We've both got all our points in one combat.
I've got 2 models there and cultists that can't be seen behind these buildings.
We should run them forwards, Nick.
But then they die.
Well, yeah, hopefully.
So it's only that unit. I was thinking of moving that unit forward, but they've got the champion.
Just remember, Nick, if they die, you get more blood points.
It's true, but that one's holding an objective. I was hoping objective 3 might come up at 1 point, but it's a really low scoring game. I'm still stuck on 3 VPs.
5 to 3.
And I had 3 VPs at the end of turn 2 from killing an Imperial Knight. And the card, if I can do well in this combat, I can gain loads of VPs from
it's
here.
It's still on this combat, I feel.
Yeah.
It could swing so easily. If your Bloodthirster has another 3 instant death wounds, and I don't save them, then he'll swing out and kill the robots as well, and that's combat over.
And I've got most of my objectives are riding on this combat.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll have to
that
see
last
how.
turn was such a swing. If I hadn't have made those saves,
If you'd failed the first one, that would have been fun.
That'd have been 2 more robots dead.
Yeah. So well, we'll see how turn 4 goes for the AdMech.
I think you might be just left with them.
Quite possibly.
So AdMech turn 4. We decided at this point we're going to end the game at the end of turn 5. It's always good to know beforehand because Nick's wife's home and I need to get home. So what happened this turn? I move forward down here, firing from those 2 Skitarii squads and Skitarii squad up here. Took out the remaining bike and the remaining bloodletter, giving Nick points, which isn't good. Then we move over to the combat. It's a really quick go through here. So my walker decided to move 6 inches sideways because it ignores all terrain, and then it needed a 12-inch charge to get to combat. Threw the 2 dice, both 6s, into combat for me, so that was pretty sweet. The challenge continued on, so the Bloodthirster hit out, managed to get an instant death wound.
The thing to remember as well is he was blind.
He was blinded at this point. We rolled the blind test. The Bloodthirster, the Bloodletters and the Soul Grinder all got blinded by the conversion field last turn. Really bad for Nick. But the blinded Bloodthirster lashed out, still hit 3 times, got 1 normal wound and 1 instant death wound. I failed the instant death save straight off the bat. Killed my Warlord, who's also the thing that gives them all it will not die, so that was pretty bad. And then I managed to feel no pain away the normal hit on a robot. So then we went round. Nick basically flailed with the rest of his stuff because most of it was blind. The Soul Grinder, I think, got 1 wound through on my double fist robot. But then my double fist robot managed to kill the Soul Grinder back, so that was good. The other couple of robots, they were surrounded by the Bloodletters. I managed to kill 1, even though they were blind, wasn't so clever. But then, in charging comes my Dune Crawler. 2 hits because it's charging in, gets a wound on the Bloodthirster, kills Nick's Warlord.
Fails a 3-up save.
This guy doesn't have a power fist or anything like that. He just ran in and used the weight of his body and trampled over Nick's Warlord. It was pretty sweet. That gave me a couple of points. 1 for killing a flying monstrous creature, 1 for killing an enemy in a challenge while I've activated a certain protocol, and obviously 1 for Warlords. That was huge for me there. I really thought I was in trouble.
That was the swing. We said
but that random thing going in managed to pull it out. We're still locked in combat there because we're all fearless, but I'm quite confident now, even though I don't have many wounds left. But
it's
because
the 2-up saves. You should have at least failed 1.
Yeah, because all the attacks on the Bloodletters and the Possessed, they're all next to a 2-up save guy, so I've just been tanking all of those wounds on my Tech Priest little guy. So they're not getting through to the robots, and the robots are tanking the big attacks, so they feel no pain. It's just really good.
If I got through then, the robots, I can get through the robots.
Yeah.
A lot easier. It's just
Yeah,
those
that's
guys.
it.
So.
But that's what happened there. So we've just got our last turn 5 each, and we'll see where we're at. The scores on the doors at the minute are 8 to me, 4 to Nick. But Nick has a card he's going to score next turn, which will give him D3, I believe. So it's pretty close. Okay, turn 5 is over for both of us. So we'll quickly do both of ours in the same vid. Nick, what did you do on your turn?
I summoned a skull cannon down here.
Grabbing you line breaker.
Shot over at your couple of guys over there, killed a couple. Yep. And lost everything in the assault.
Yep.
Everything died in the assault.
You were really, it went down to the last wound I dealt, didn't it? But I killed you just.
Yeah, so I gained my D3, which got me
for
1
killing Warlord, because you had that, and you gained 1 for summoning a demon, so it gave you another couple.
It basically put me 2 behind you still.
Yeah.
So put me up to 6, you was on the 8. If I got the 3 from the D3, I would have been drawing, but then it's just all dependent on that. So, just bear with me 1 second. Right, okay, so, yes. So I lost everything in my combat. So it meant basically you consolidated for your turn, which was a pain. So I was just scoring line breaker. So
and then
it's your turn.
On my turn, I basically shot that up. I ended up killing it with a gamma pistol, which is a little pistol the little guys carry, which is an armor bane strength 6 pistol. Pretty useful actually. And I tried to run for line breaker, didn't make it. And I got a score objective 4 as well.
Finally, one of your objectives.
Yeah, finally. So in the end, it was 10-6, but I think it all came down to that combat and my Tech Priest surviving for 3 turns versus the Bloodthirster.
And 3 instant wounds, he saved.
Yeah.
Just took a normal wound.
Because if that hadn't have failed, I'd have just lost all of that stuff and the Bloodthirster wouldn't have died. It was such a swingy combat.
I mean, I challenged with the possessed guy to start with because I thought the Bloodthirster might get a few instant kills, just a turn to trying to get instant kills on some robots. Failed then, unfortunately.
That robot squad is so tough.
Yeah, it's the amount of 2+ saves. I mean, I know I had to roll 6s to wound the others in the end. But
it's the fact that you roll a 6 to wound and then I can take them on the 2-up saves. It's,
and then the 2-up saves.
The squad is just brutal.
So, but it was, as I say, once the Imperial Knight went, it just went to that combat. So everything literally just charged into this combat.
Yeah. And it was, I thought you probably had the upper hand. The Bloodthirster, I think, should have swung it, but a bit of unluck on your half. Going blind was bad.
Yeah.
And me making those saves. And then I just swung back round in that combat and the rest of my shooting, because you'd put so much in there.
It's a
like a pick off with the rest of it.
Yeah, it was just down to the dice, really. Bit of luck, bit of being unlucky with some of the rolls.
Interesting game, though. I think the fact we were playing Hammer and Anvil helped me. Because it kind of like it shrunk the battlefield a bit, meaning my robots, because I've got so many points in them, they really are. If I couldn't get good use out of them, then I lose the game. But because it was that deployment, I could. I soaked up an entire half the board with them and walked away.
It was 3 turns in combat. From turn 3, we've just been in combat until literally my turn until my turn 5. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of combat. Yeah. With basically an entire army. I mean, obviously turn 2, you're the Imperial Knight going and that was like, right, that's done. Let's come over here, finish this lot. Then hopefully that would be it. That would have been going for me.
I mean, I built my robots. I've got 4 of them. I built one with 2 Power Fists and a Flame, and the rest all with a Phosphor Blast, because you kind of think they'll be shooting more. But when combat started, the ones with the Power Fists were, well, the one with the power so much better. He was the one that beat up the Soul Grinder with 3 strength 6, 3 strength 10 attacks. I could have smashed with the others, but then they've only got 1 attack, so he's much better in combat. I kind of wish I had more, but then shooting the other ones are much better. But yeah, I mean, interesting.
Combat, I mean, not really much is going to charge into combat with him. It's okay.
No, that's it. You charged him with everything.
It's the Bloodthirster that went in with the charge, which is obviously why I went in with everything as well. Because if the Bloodthirster wasn't going in that first round, I might have could I let you have another round of shooting? But
that's it, because they killed the Bloodthirster with their last turn of shooting. Yeah.
So it's
interesting game. 2 armies that we haven't really properly played before.
No, I enjoyed the Khorne army. It was worked really
the blood points and stuff. It was a bit of a shame you didn't manage to summon your Bloodthirster.
Yeah, that was another bit of a swing.
Another Bloodthirster, I couldn't have handled another Bloodthirster.
He would have just come down and come into this combat.
Yeah, exactly. He'd have been there.
Yeah, so it would have been another Bloodthirster with an instant, and obviously the other one holding on. I would have had a couple of turns with him in there, so that could have swung it my way, unfortunately.
Really like my Skitarii guy. These guys with the arc rifles are immense.
It's the Haywire guns.
Yeah, they just go straight through vehicles.
And I like the combat guys that were.
Yeah, they die pretty quick because good in combat that they are. They're not a Bloodthirster.
No.
But against the dogs, they killed the dogs in 2 rounds. That's 10 wounds of dog. 20 wounds of dogs.
I don't think I would have changed anything with my Khorne army.
No, I thought it was pretty good. I think possibly you could have used the cultists a bit more. I know they're rubbish, but these guys are pretty poor in combat. So I mean, your cultists would have beaten them up in combat.
It was but I suppose I would have been able to run them quite far.
I think those ones sitting on the objectives obviously keep those, but I think these ones
those ones were a bit
possibly move out just to give me a bit more targets to spread my shots around. It means you might keep something else alive, but other than that, it was a really close game.
The bikers were the only unfortunate sort of thing for this, because I started them off over here, you put the knight over here, so they went over there, they were dead.
Then my vehicles died, so then they tried to move over.
Back over. They probably would have died first turn, but I could have caught them round to put some melter shots into the robots to start with, so might have been able to do some damage to them there before I actually got into combat. The Forge Fiend I really liked. He survived longer than he should have done, I would have thought.
Soul Grinders I always love.
Yeah.
My Knight was a bit disappointing, but a D-Thirster is pretty darn threatening.
It was a Soul Grinder or a D-Thirster. A Knight is good, but I mean, it's the first time I actually killed a Knight.
Yeah, and the explosion killing. I really wanted to use this guy, even though it's not the right model. Really wanted to use him, but no, died before it. New model syndrome, and he's not even a new model. Okay, we'd better pack up.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Cheers.
See you soon.